Hello, everyone. Okay, so this episode is going to be about planning kind of a promotion for a Black Friday sale, as we are 6 weeks out from that right now. And 6 weeks is a nice little runway for something like a sale or a announcement or anything. And the reason I'm saying this is because I'm noticing that despite my harping on it, a lot of you are not talking about this. And you have to do what I say. I'm just kidding. But if you want to do what I say, because it will hopefully make it so that your 2026 is what you want it to be, then this is the episode for you. So really quickly, I want to update something about the membership, which is that right now I'm in the process of writing out a bunch of focus classes. So how the membership works, just really quickly, is that every single Monday morning, I am there talking to the group live. Monday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. The reason for that is because family photography as a business can feel extremely unstructured, which is part of the appeal. That's like, I've been able to, from building this business, see my kids and set my own schedule. And that was my whole goal in starting the business logistically. But sometimes if the week starts, this is what can happen to me. So the week starts and I haven't done anything and I haven't grounded myself or centered myself in my administrative or marketing tasks. The editing is always looming. The client communication is always looming. That has its own internal deadline system, right? So like you have to get your galleries out so they're going to get done. There's no one telling you to do your marketing. There's no one who can center you in the beginning of the week towards what you're actually talking about, if you're not in the membership. I mean, obviously there's other ways to do it, but that's one of my favorite things about it. So I chat about any questions I got through email, meaning that all of those are recorded. If you can't make it, you can email me a question. I will cover it in the live, and then I open it up for whatever anybody's struggling with. And it's been really fun. And then in addition to that, I do these small group classes on specific topics. And so the last one was on ManyChat, and it was actually really helpful because we were able to think like how we could segment out our marketing around a particular offer, and whether or not you end up using ManyChat for something like that. The idea was more about thinking about marketing strategically instead of thinking about marketing as just posting on Instagram, which is in 2026 what I want people to get away from. I don't want it to be that you're just checking the box off because you posted an Instagram post. I want it to be that you have an actual strategy that's centered around an offer. And this Black Friday sale is exactly what that is. You have a strategy, you have a marketing strategy centered around something that is happening on Black Friday. That's the release date. So there's structure already in it. But anyway, I'm coming up with some of the upcoming classes and I wanted to read them to you. So we're going to do a caption clinic. We're going to do a story flow workshop. We're going to do a welcome email makeover, Pinterest Analytics 101, ad copy clinic, visibility block workshop, and portfolio consistency check. So those are just 7 classes and I'm adding more all the time. I want to get them planned all the way through like spring so that if you decide to join the membership, you know what you have to look up to. And I just want to say that this is literally $35 a month. So if you just want some iota of structure in your life, the membership can provide that for you. Okay, so let's get to the post. So just today, I was on like an unscripted Facebook page. I like to follow Facebook pages of photography organizations, groups, or whatever, because I kind of can really keep my ear to the ground as to what people are struggling with. And this particular photographer was talking about how busy they were and how they were drowning. And I know as a marketing person that when people say that, when I go to their Instagram, it is silent, right? So like, you get busy with fall, and then from September through November, the Instagram goes completely quiet. And you know, if you've been listening to this podcast, that I think that's a mistake because we have so many eyes on our business. Just this week, I had 2 separate families share their sessions to Instagram, and I got 2 increase. I'm fully booked for October, and I always question living in the Seattle area if I want to venture into November sessions, just because it's like mushy and wet and like every pretty leaf has turned into a brown soup. And so it's like, can I make you look cute? I could try. So I'm now thinking like, okay, do I want to open up a few more November dates? Do I want to funnel those people into the studio. But either way, what do I have? What do I have right now on my business? Eyeballs. So we have to take advantage of that. And so many of us are not taking advantage of it. The thing about this particular time frame, like Black Friday and tying it into a 2026 offer, psychologically, people around Black Friday are in a spending mode. They're looking for experiences or gifts. And then often that feeling just completely goes away after Black Friday. It's like, yeah, maybe somebody could buy someone family photography for Christmas, but in my 14-year career, that's actually never happened. So the goal is like, we have the American consumer public, or whatever place you live, maybe you don't have Black Friday. Here in America, we have Black Friday. So everyone is sort of like seeing lots of Black Friday sales. They're getting this little like, okay, I'm getting ready to spend money. Even my 14-year-old is like, I saw Sephora's having a Black Friday sale, so I'm saving up my allowance. I'm like, even you, baby consumer, is catching on to this idea of spending happens that day, right? And I want to acknowledge that there can be some weirdness about like, I don't like consumerism. I don't like want to play into it. I don't want or like another common one is like, I don't want my sessions to be on sale. All of that is like completely personal. For me, I like to use a Black Friday sale to book out seasons that have trouble booking out otherwise. That's like the whole goal. So you can think of it as something else if you don't want to use the word Black Friday, but the thing about using Black Friday is it's already a word that people know in their mind. Sometimes I feel like our copy tries to be too cutesy. Like we're like, oh, we try to make up a new word that sounds like Black Friday in itself is a little like dark. I should actually research why that is. I think the reason was because it's a chance for businesses to bring their books into the black, like out of the red. That's what I have in the back of my mind. I'll have to Google it. But you don't need to reinvent the wheel, and there's nothing wrong with just plugging into existing systems with your own products. Because basically, family photography, again, is a product. I know some of you don't like to think about it that way, but it is an exchange of money for a thing. Okay, so let's think about it. If we have a 6-week breakdown, first, what you're going to want to do is define what's in your sale. And the mistake I see a lot of people do is the sale is everything and like every day is available and there's like no parameters, and it can feel overwhelming on the consumer side. So instead, especially if you're new to the sale, choose 1 or 2 clear offers, limited spring sessions, like a bundle of sessions. You could do like in my Black Friday sale, I'm offering a fall mini and a spring full at a discounted rate. So the family gets to try out spring, but they also get to come back to you for a fall mini. And then you're kind of like winning because you're getting those spring images that you need to build out that season, but the family's not fearing that they're going to like lose out on their normal fall session. So you could come up with like, there's 5 of those in the sale. Let's say there's just 5 of those. So now you have something you're holding in your hand. We're actually going to use that as the example. That one's more extreme. I've never done 2 sessions for one family, but let's just say you really want to build out your spring. So you have 5 available. If you think about it that way, if you're like, my goal as a marketer is to sell 5 of these things, that is a lot less nebulous than being like, my entire business is on sale on this day. So make sure that whatever that offer is aligns with your 2026 goals. 2026 goals, you might say, what are those? Well, you should, after every season, be looking back upon that season to see how it kicked your ass or uplifted you, and then adjust accordingly. So that even at now, in mid-October 2025, you already know things you want to do different in 2026 and things you want to do the same. You should be writing those things down, even if it's in your notes app, so that you can keep track of it. Because again, what we know, if you listen to this podcast, what's going to happen is we're going to hit Thanksgiving. You're going to get busy with the holiday season with your family. And then January is going to hit and you're going to freak out. And no one's going to be listening to you. And you're going to be screaming from the rooftops. No one's Googling you. No one's checking in. People aren't sharing their fall photos. There's not this momentum. So that's why we want to take advantage of it. Okay, so first you define the offer. Second, you prep the systems. This is the part that's also overlooked for a lot of people. They're just willy-nilly nillying it. That's not a word. So what you want to do is say, what would the consumer or the customer or the client, however you want to think of them, what is their pathway from discovering this to actually obtaining it? I've seen photographers who are building out an email list. So it's like email subscribers get first dibs on Black Friday deals. However, the Black Friday deal in a lot of those marketing campaigns that I've seen, the Black Friday deal is not defined. So that's not enough for someone to get on an email list. If that makes sense. You can see now, you may be like, oh crap, I'm doing that as well. I'm just saying, get on the email list. Like, no, ma'am. We are not giving you our email list for something that's undefined. Define it. What is it? What do they get? Like, let's go back to our idea of a full spring and a mini fall, right? So it's like you're covering, this is like your idea, you're doing it, whatever, however, we're just using this as an example. How much more likely are you going to be to get on an email list if I say, I'm having a Black Friday sale, join my email list, or I have 5 limited slot sessions. I've never done this before, but I'm offering 5 families the opportunity to have a spring full session and a discounted session in the fall, or a discounted session in the spring and a discounted session in the fall. Like the family really gets a win there, but it's priced a little bit higher, so you're actually getting enough profit that you don't feel resentful. Sorry, side note. And this is exactly where it's going to take place. I'm so excited. It's so beautiful. I'm going to help each family style for each different session. We'll probably have different styling, and I will be there to help you. I can help you choose the location. Here's the locations that we're looking at. Like, which thing are you more excited about? And may I also say, you story hiders, a lot of you are hiding in your stories and counting that. You're counting that as talking about it. And yes, that is talking about it, but you have to get outside of your Instagram stories. For one, because the Instagram stories, I don't know if you know this, but the Instagram stories disappear. They go away. So if I'm checking into your brand at any time, I need to be aware that you are having an offering coming up on Black Friday. If I look at your Instagram, if I look at your website, again, the website, it's often completely missing from the website. It should be on the homepage. Countdown to this. Like, we have to be more transparent. Package it up. What is it? Sell the poop out of it. That's the goal here. Limited spots, deadline, exclusive bonus. What is it? We're creating urgency through excitement. You're super excited about this. Then, if you want to get excited about it, picture January 1st you. Okay, picture January 1st you. You're looking, okay, January slow, February slow. You're hopefully putting in steps to also figure out what your offer is during those times. But then look at this. You've got 5 sessions in April. Like, think about how much of a boost that would be to just know that you have those sessions booked. And depending on what you do with your sale, it can be even bigger than that. Okay, so then next part is warm the audience. So these 2 first things need to be done before you begin talking about it. Just so that you know, if someone says like, do I join an email list? Do I sign up? How are they going to be released? Any question that someone could have, you need to pre-answer. So focus the content as you release it through the eyes of being helpful to the client and a tone of excitement from the artist. That excitement is also often missing. Like, you need to bring people along by helping them understand the value. So you're sharing behind the scenes, testimonials, location tours, whatever. And then if you don't want to say exactly what it is, if you want to start this week, 6 weeks out, if you want to start this week with like something exciting is coming. Do you know how well that works? I've talked about this before. There can be someone who I don't even know. I don't even know this person. I just like stumble upon their story and they're like, something exciting is coming tomorrow. And I'm like, what is it? I just want to know. Like, that is a actual psychological thing. So if you want to start out really slow like that, be like, something really exciting is coming along. And then you just slowly tease it out. So then the second week is you're talking about more of what it is, or you're actually saying what it is and how you can sign up for it. You can create interest lists or early access subscribers. Again, the only way that people are going to sign up to be on the list is if there's true value. It can't just be you saying you're having a Black Friday offer. You have to actually explain what it is. And that's the missing piece. So there's people who are not talking at all. They're just quiet because they're overwhelmed. And I understand that. Overwhelm is a choice. I'm always going to say that. Unless something extremely volatile is happening in your life, being overwhelmed by marketing is a choice. You have everything you need already there. The only thing that's probably stopping you is your primitive brain, who's trying to stop you from embarrassing yourself, which you won't. Okay, so then you're kind of launching the thing out into the world, right? You've been like, something's coming, you silly gooses, and then you launch it, right? So you're like, so all your systems need to be in place because you need to start getting people into your box. Oh, you need to get you need to get people into your container of this thing. You need to be like, okay, this is Sarah. She's interested in this offer. How are we holding her attention in a way that's not just hoping she'll check back stories again? So those are the systems you need. So you need to have everything lined out. Test it. Have a test person come through. Join the email list. Make sure that when you send out your email, your announcement email on Black Friday, make sure the links, the payments, the coupon codes, all of that stuff has to be working. There's nothing more annoying than putting a ton of work into something like this and then not double checking those tiny little connection points and then losing out on all that work. So decide, how long is the sale going to run? It doesn't even have to be one day. You could run the sale for a week. You could decide when it expires. All of this is your choice. But if you put energy, and I know everyone is busy, like I just want to say, and if you're not busy, then your goal is getting busy in 2026. But if you are busy, I understand that. I am also very busy. I just had to reshoot a session last night because the session that we tried to do, the baby had a blowout 4 minutes into the session and we had no other clothes and it was an up the back explosion. And so I literally was just running around to try to redo this session that I had already done. I didn't charge the client because that's like part of my customer service thing. If it's something that was truly no one's fault, very, very rarely does that happen. I will always accommodate because that's part of my customer service. However, let me reverse. All I'm trying to say with that is that we're all busy, but like, think about January you. You're sitting at your counter, you're sipping your tea. How do you want to feel? That's all I want you to focus on. That's all that matters. Do you want to feel like, okay, I can do this because I have some sessions already in 2026. I can build off that momentum. Or do you want to be like, it's January 1st, 2026, and all of my marketing work is behind me and I need to shout as loud as I possibly can because no one's looking at me. So I do want you to think about it that way. Then the next thing you need to do is write out your emails and your captions at any moment of time that you have. Start writing them out so you have them. The way that you will fail with this is if you just rely on hope. You need to actually set yourself up to succeed. If you have an hour or two, you could pretty much build out the entire campaign and then schedule all the posts and then send the emails and make sure it's updated on your website. You don't need that much time to do it. And I want to say something about phone addiction because I do feel like this funny thing happens to me where the busier I get, I tend to look at my phone more when I'm overwhelmed. I think it's because my brain, it's like a coping mechanism. Like my brain is like, you need to reward yourself with silly cats. I don't know like what the psychological reason for that is, but I have to be really careful because what can happen is if someone were to be watching me and timing me on my phone, I'm probably spending more time endlessly like pooping around on my phone now than when I have more time to market. So that's a danger that I know that I have. And I know that a couple people I've seen got this thing called Brick, which is like it basically blocks your social media apps until you touch your phone to it. You can like have it in your house. And they've been using that to get time back because the scrolling on the phone is an absolute massive time suck. And if you took an hour of scrolling on Instagram and just replaced it with an hour of caption writing for your Black Friday sale, then you will see a massive change. It's just really hard to let go of the addiction. So I just want to mention that because I'm never one of these people who's like, well, I'm perfect. No, I suck at a lot of stuff, including time management, especially when I'm busy, but I'm still out here trying. Okay, so the last part of this is managing your energy. So I wrote down in my notes, launch it boldly, not apologetically. Like launch it through pure excitement. Like if you think about getting 5 families who are going to adventure around with you in beautiful spring, bring that energy to this. You need to be visible. You're seeking visibility. So you need to be visible. This is the time more than any that you need to show up and talk about it because we want to connect with you. This would be the time more than any to start talking about something in your life that has nothing to do with photography that's connection content, even though you're busy. It could be like a series on trying to make sure you do one small thing for yourself in busy season. And you're just like, that's just a series you have going on. If you had 2 pieces of content running right now, you could have a series on how you keep yourself, or like even how you're decorating for fall, or what your fall celebratory things are. Pumpkin patch, decorating the porch, pumpkin spice lattes, watching these movies, something like that to keep people just interested in you as a person, and then your Black Friday prep. If you just had those 2 pieces of content, you're going to be utilizing your time on social media better than the vast majority of other family photographers. So you need to consistently show up and talk about it. We've said this before, how the attention spans are the smallest they've ever been. And like, if I pay attention to what I watch, I just like to watch people doing things and being alive. And you are also a person who's alive, hopefully. I don't know if I have any ghost listeners, probably do. But you know what I mean? Like, you are out here. It can be such a small little series that you start. It could be like making sure I walk my dog every day. People, I don't even tell you that people are just so interested in what other people are doing. And for whatever reason, family photographers, out of all the photographers, wedding photographers, elopement photographers, senior photographers, and like branding photographers, they seem all much more interested in showing parts of themselves than family photographers, who for whatever reason are really quiet when it comes to that. So if you haven't done it before, now is the time to do it. Again, you can conjure up time in your life by controlling your phone addiction for the vast majority of you. Okay, what to do after the sale. So this is the other important thing. Like, you want to keep those people, you want to make sure you serve them well. So like, keep them excited, make sure you have a way to like check in with them and get them excited, because here's the problem that happens to a lot of people is they will book people far out in advance and then kind of just like leave them hanging, and then those people are like, oh, I forgot about it, or it doesn't matter, or it's not really on the calendar, or I can just cancel. So you want to bring the energy of like, no, don't cancel, we're very excited, here's the next step, right? So we're keeping the people who engage with you on your sale or your 2026 offer, we're keeping them excited. That part you need to make sure you write into your overall systems. Okay, so here are the mindset bits. You will be very tempted to compare, because if you haven't muted, especially if you right now of all times, mute all local photographers. You should just mute them, and unless you have like a will of steel, now is not the time to see what everyone else is doing. It's just not. So mute, if you haven't yet, my advice is mute all local photographers. You can put a note in your notes to go back and unmute them at the end of the season if you want to, because what'll happen is you'll see other people's Black Friday sales and you will start to compare and you'll shut yourself down. So you don't want to do that. You want to protect yourself from that, because for the vast majority of you doing something like this, doing a 6-week promotion, you've never done anything like this before. So you're primed to think you suck. That's just like anything. Like if I was like, I'm going to join a basketball team and I went and started playing basketball, it would just be like airball, 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 like awful, because I've never done it before. So the last thing I need to do is look over at Susie, who's just hitting threes, and be like, well, I should just quit. No, Susie's been running sales for 5 years and her clients know what's up with it. So you cannot compare. So that is so important. You have to protect yourself from that. So one little reminder is that I want to kind of like emphasize how important this work is. So like the work that we do with family photography is so important, but especially in fall, it can feel like a service provider job because a lot of those clients come out of the woodwork and they treat the job like that because they're trying to obtain this Christmas card image, and it feels like a service that you're providing, and there's not a lot of artistry that can come through at this time of year. A lot of photographers fall into that. You need to make sure that that mindset doesn't get connected to what you're offering in your Black Friday sale, which should be built on trust and excitement. So like what you're inspiring people to book for 2026 is not a service provider vibe. It's an artistic partnership vibe. And the way that you do that is you help handhold people along to get what they want from you. And in order for them to know what that is, you're going to have to talk about it consistently. Okay, so I hope that kind of helps you guys to see how you could start to formulate a plan like this. And honestly, rolling forward, this is how every season drop could look for you. You could have a seasonal drop every single season with a 6-week runway. So like as we approach spring, you would start in like early March or mid-February to give yourself 6 weeks to do a concentrated strategic campaign to book out that season. And then while you're shooting spring season, you're opening up for summer, and then you're rolling forward, and then suddenly the marketing feels tangible and like something you can hold. And that is what we are working on in the membership as well, is making marketing feel more strategic. So if you're interested in the membership, $35 a month. You'll have me there to talk to you every single Monday, even if you're just tuning in on the recording. And yeah, that is all I have for you today. Be brave, be bold. You're doing amazing work, and definitely mute people that cause you any sort of comparison. All right, see you later.